SLV. This is the pump and dump video. I want to cover a few things. We need to have a little talk about SLV right now. Um, well, I've been following silver for quite a while, just because we've been in a deflationary whole trend for like 40 years or something, and like when we bottom and switch into inflation, silver should do well, like long term, kind of commodity monetary asset. Um, but SLV is paper silver, and I don't know where do we start? This is Brian Lewis with MMT Investing, and things just changed. So the huge thing, Wall Street bets. Um, there were posts, like 3 or 4 posts about the next short squeezes, the silver short squeeze, and there's talk about AMC theaters and like BlackBerry and some other like kind of short squeezes. And if you actually go to, and none of this is financial advice, it's just a few things that I heard from Diamond Hands. But yeah, if you actually go to Wall Street Bets and you look up these like silver short squeeze posts that got posted, everyone on the thread is angry about them. They've deleted them off the thread, and they're like, these are either bots or people that are just brand new accounts that have posted this stuff, and it gets deleted. But they've been posted, they've been picked up by the media, and it's getting like spread across the media that like the SLV like short squeeze is coming or something like that. And they're like, this is completely fake stuff. Like there's bots that have come into our whole subreddit. Like this entire subreddit is like destroyed now. But yeah, like that's what they're saying inside of the Wall Street bets. It's like we can't even hardly talk to each other anymore because like half the stuff in here now is all fake. There's like they say like there's no short squeeze except GME. GameStop is the only short squeeze. Like silver is a completely separate industry that like the banks own that we're not even considering. That's just some stuff that bots posted on our Reddit like the last couple of days. Like GameStop, they've been talking about for like 6 months. This is what they're saying on the threads in there. And then, like the general, well, I mean, I don't know. This is like the SLV chart here, just to look at it. So just like from a technical analysis kind of thing, I mean, silver bottomed back here. This was the COVID crash, the euro dollar liquidation pull down, and silver pulled down, SLV pulled down. This says like paper silver went to like $10 apparently, but I mean, I was in Singapore like at the bottom of this crash trying to buy silver, and the cheapest coins were like $25 at that time, like during this crash. Like physical silver never went anywhere near that low. It was like 25 was the cheapest stuff I could find. And even if you go online to like First Majestic miners, First Majestic's a miner that mints their own coins, so you can order them direct. And the lowest I ever saw from them was 22. So I'm like, no deal. It's like more than double the fake price to get actual silver. So whatever. Um, but I mean, you can see there's been like a relatively recent kind of bubble blow up and breakdown in silver. Just since the financial crisis, there's been one blow up in silver. It went up to 47, but this is paper silver also. But real silver went up this high also. And silver, I don't know. If you listen to all the silver industry people, they perpetually complain about industry manipulation. Like silver's been undervalued since the 80s or whatever. That's what they always say. Um, it's like, I don't know. Every time you listen to like gold and silver, like industry people, they always say it's undervalued. They always say it's gonna break out soon. It's like, okay, but that's like your business, so Like you should probably say it's going to be worth more because you're selling it. But yeah, I don't know. I've just been like following this whole silver thing, and also to the interesting thing that I saw today was there was a post in Wall Street Bets that's like boom, Citadel, like the big uh clearinghouse that's backing Melvin Capital, the hedge fund that's getting squeezed by the GameStop squeeze, is like the number 5 long position in SLV. Like SLV is a super big long position of the company that's getting squeezed by the the GameStonks short squeeze. And yeah, so like today, everyone on the Wall Street Bets, if you just go, I mean, you just go to the Wall Street Bets Reddit and read through everything. I mean, everyone in there is just like, this is all fake stuff. Like, there's no silver thing happening in this thread. Nobody in here is doing that. Even the other stocks like BlackBerry and like AMC is sort of a short. It's like a mediocre kind of short play, but it's not like a real short squeeze. Like GME, GameStop is the only short squeeze. There's no like movement on silver. Like it's just not happening. And people are saying like, oh, this is like the hedge funds like coming into our Reddit and like hijacking it and trying to like do hype on a long position that they have. So this is the pump and dump video. Um, yeah, I guess we really did. We like this crash here is when we switched into MMT kind of inflationary monetary policy, which has been upward trajectory for most stuff. And it looks like it's going to continue to be inflationary. Like this is really a good environment for silver, especially if you get inflation and growth at the same time. So like the pull down was sort of the bottom on growth and inflation. It was really a bottom on both. And up growth and up inflation is good for silver. And like it's not like a hypothetical like short squeeze on silver. Like that's a real thing. Like just talking about physical silver and paper silver. Like JP Morgan has been stacking silver for like the last 10 years or so, and they have about half of the world's supply supposedly of like all the monetary silver like that in their vaults. JP Morgan has switched and turned into the number 1 holder of physical silver, which has never been audited, but supposedly they have all like half the monetary silver in the world. And then like more than half of the silver that's mined every year is used for production, electronics, solar panels, all kinds of industry uses. But yeah, the the inflationary scenario that we're in is good for silver fundamentally, and there is limited supply, and silver ratio is low to gold. It's like 72% or something like that now, or 72 to 1, which is like just the amount of silver versus the amount of gold means that silver's way undervalued relative to gold. All of kind of the industry and bullion argument kind of things are fine, but what it sounds like is happening right now relative to this GameStop short squeeze is that this short squeeze is still on, and on opening, yeah, tomorrow we're gonna see what the price action looks like on silver and GameStop. But everyone that is holding GameStop shares is not interested in silver whatsoever. This is a real short squeeze where people are more than 100% short, and it's way upside down. I mean, it's like exponentially upside down against the shorts, and if they try to sell, it's going to go even higher. And everyone in the Reddit thread is saying that any other short squeeze kind of chat, silver or any other short squeeze talk is completely nonsense. GameStop is the only short squeeze that's on right now, and it's probably the only short squeeze you're going to see in the next 20 years or something like this. Just being like fraudulently naked short on this position, and then just a bunch of random people buying all the shares where you can't get out of the short position and driving it up is just this. It's just like a super rare, I guess, just sort of exposing fraud position. But I mean, it's also, you know, it's money. They're trading stocks, so it's all money. Yeah. So I guess that was the point of this thing, and I'm saying pump and dump because it looks like the people promoting the short squeeze is not Wall Street Bets. It just isn't. Like, just go in there and read it. Like, Wall Street Bets is just not promoting a silver squeeze now or anytime soon. The people in there, like, this has nothing to do with what we're trying to do right now. It's not a play that we're trying to do. It's not part of the movement. Nothing. And this is like the big guys coming in and trying to manipulate the media like normal. So yeah, so all right, what's gonna happen? I think, I don't know. On SLV, which is the paper silver, so the miners are separate, but like SLV is probably gonna get like a fake hype run up. I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get like a pump, and then they're gonna put it and drive it down. So I'm expecting SLV to run up like in a pattern that makes no sense. I don't know how fast, like just in a couple of days probably, and then probably crash down, and then probably just get back to where it was going anyway. I think this is a completely weird thing that's about to do, but I do think that silver is in just a general kind of inflationary bull market now, but I think this hypey move, if it takes off right now, is not going to be real. And then also, SLV is paper silver contracts that are just straight up are not backed by real silver. So if the silver short squeeze really did happen, which is, I mean, there's several like theses theses on the silver short squeeze where if you just buy and hold all the physical silver and there's a shortage, you'll expose like the paper silver is not backed, and then it'll be a big fiasco. And then if you can bust the manipulation, then silver prices would go way up. And that's the general idea. But this like short squeeze on SLV doesn't even make sense because you wouldn't squeeze paper silver. They can just print more paper silver. Like, it's not even that. I just have like no trust in this. This is backed by JP Morgan, who has been fined for manipulating silver like on thousands of accounts recently. And this is just like a fake ETF thing to me that I have no interest in. That being said, it's still tradable, and I think it probably will pop in a sporadic manner that doesn't make sense, just because of all this media hype. 1-2 days maybe, probably will crash down. That's what I think. That's what I think. Here's what we're looking at. Where is it now? 24. I don't think it's gonna go. I mean, I think it might pop to like 40 or something tomorrow, and then it's either gonna just come straight back down like in a day or two, like straight down, or it's gonna pop and flag and pop, and then it's gonna come down. That's what I think this is gonna do. This looks like a fake media, fake pump, and it's unrelated to the short squeeze from a lot of research that I've done this weekend because things are just crazy right now. But on that note, the short squeeze is still on. The short interest on GameStop is still over 100%. Like everyone is completely holding their shares and pressing and trying to drive GameStop up to a ridiculous number, just because they're way upside down short on it. And the higher it goes, the more ridiculous it is to try to get out of the short positions. It's a squeeze, and it's still on. And AMC is, I don't know if it's really still a squeeze or not. The AMC shorts may have been mostly traded out of already. It was only like 70% short interest to begin with, and I think it's below 50 now. So it's not remotely the same, and none of the other shorts are even close. But GameStop is a real short squeeze. The short interest is still above 100%. And that's the actual thing that's happening. The silver thing, we'll have to see what develops. But anyway, if there was a squeeze on silver, it wouldn't be the SLV paper silver ETF fund thing. It would be people buying up all the physical silver and holding it and proving that there's no more physical delivery of silver and proving that the paper silver is worthless because there's nothing backing it. And then that would get into a huge fiasco. Like if there was a real squeeze on silver, it would be physical silver. SLV would be proven like bogus, and then whatever your shares are worth, like good luck, because it will just be like a lawsuit or something. Like you're trying to get money from the courts. That's what it looks like. And then yeah, the miners. Well, the silver miners are only tangentially related to any of this. Like a silver miner stock, it's a company's stock, and like yeah, they do mine silver, and yeah, it's like sounds like it should be related, but it's just a company's stock. So like the underlying fundamentals of the company have absolutely nothing to do with the shares of the stock, unless they're paying a dividend, which they're not required to. Just the way that a stock works is like when the company issues shares of a stock, investors pay them for the stock, and then after that, the only connection with the company is if they go bankrupt. Like if the company stops existing, the stock stops existing, it goes to zero and goes away. But any trading on the stock in between when the first person bought it from the company and the company going bankrupt has no fundamental connection with anything the company does. It's just traded. And so I guess whatever threat the company has of going bankrupt is really the only fundamental connection with the actual stock. It's just trading interest in the company's name. It's kind of a weird thing, but the company can issue new shares, so it is still connected to the company, because if they issue new shares, that's new investors giving money to the company. So it is still connected to the company somewhat, but the business model of the company has nothing to do with the stock other than are they going to go bankrupt? Like that's the only connection. Yeah, so anyway, that's a look at a bunch of stuff that is high risk, and just everything's being distorted by a ton of crazy news. Like the Reddit blew up. It's a huge movement from individual people that kind of basically uncovered some fraud, and it's basically a fraudulent position, a fraudulent short position that they just kind of exposed. And now that it's now that they squeezed it, now we're seeing a bunch of possibly illegal stuff happening. So I would consider everything that's happening right now extremely risky. Obviously, like the volatility is crazy, and I'm not really sure what's going to happen. I mean, like the short squeeze is on, but it's possible the company issues like a mess of shares and busts the short squeeze. Like the company could make a deal with the hedge fund that's way short for a lower price than all of the people holding the stock are on, because the people holding the stock have limits at like $5,000 a share. Like the trading when it got messed up on Thursday was like buy at 200 or sell at 200, and the buy price is like 5,000. There's like no more shares available, and the next share is $5,000, and it's sitting at whatever it was sitting at, like 300 or something. But like that's what's happening right now. It's like a crazy short squeeze, and the people holding the shares are asking $5,000. If you want to try to close a short position, you have to pay $5,000 for the share to close a short position, and that's going to drive it would drive the stock up like insane. Like if they started trying to close at that price, it would go to who knows, 10,000 or something ridiculous. So it's sort of like a mathematical glitch and like fraud and whatever else. These are not official allegations or financial advice. I'm just repeating some things that I've heard. But that's the basic idea of everything that's going on now. It's just kind of exposing some more crap in the financial system and the stock market that's borderline illegal or is illegal that's going on, and just kind of fraudulent stuff where there's more shares in the market that even exist, or like paper silver. There's more paper silver in the market than there is actual silver backing it. It's just like kind of the normal progression of that's how it always goes. I think that's why the US dollar has no backing. It used to be 100% backed by gold, and then it was kind of backed by gold, and it's like, oh, it's not backed by gold. Now it's just fake. So that's just like how it always progresses. Like things are a real thing, and then it's like a coupon for a real thing, and then it's like a fake coupon with no real thing behind it. So that's where we are on all the things right now. And so I think silver in general is going to continue this general bull market run. I think this is a real trend line. I think this matches what makes actual sense for silver right now. I think we're going to continue this kind of a trend with up growth and up inflation probably for at least a few more months or something like that. But I think any like super pump away from this trend line is going to reverse down or past the trend line in SLV. That's what it looks like would happen. And then for the miners, like that is not even related. That's just a speculative thing. If silver gets a bunch of hype, the miners will get a bunch of hype. So I guess on a trade here, it's like a spot maybe for like a call option, and then a spot for a put back down. It's just going to be kind of wild and kind of fake right now is what it looks like it's going to be. And then the GameStop is still the real story. Like everyone's talking about it like it's past tense. It's not past tense. The squeeze is on, and the hedge funds are way upside down and short. And it could go to a ridiculous number that like could sort of crash the whole system basically. And I guess just on the general market, oh, we're getting pre-market stuff. Oh, cool. I wasn't even expecting that. This will be cool then too. So and it's more down candles, which is not that surprising. So what's going on here relative to the short squeeze? Like I don't know if this would be a normal spot where stuff would sell off, but everyone is saying like this short squeeze is crunching all the big funds now where they're out of cash, and now they have to sell their long positions in whatever they want to sell. So the FANG stocks and Tesla and things like that are big long positions, the big tech stocks, or anything else. I mean, silver as well. So I think we're gonna pull. I think we're gonna pull down a bit here over the next couple of days. Here's what's happening. Yeah, here's what's happening right now. This is gonna pull down. The normal stocks are gonna pull down now. right? And silver is going to hype and it's going to pop over the next 1 or 2 days, and then silver is going to sell off. That's what's happening. That's what's happening right now. And I think this squeeze is real, and I think it's going to hold, and I think it's going to cause a mess. It's going to cause a mess to the tune of like potentially shutting down the markets to figure out trading and kind of figure out fraud investigations and all kinds of stuff. So, right. So, like the whole general market thing here, I mean, this is like the crazy volatility zone we've been in, like high volatility, like crossing up and down across this huge zone. Just absolutely insane moves that we've never seen in the history of the stock market. I mean, there's been a lot of analysis on bubbles, just like, kind of blowing up and coming down. But this kind of super high volatility over a lot of years, just crazy movements is, I don't think there's any precedent for what's happening right now. Like this is it's just kind of crazy. But I didn't expect this. Wow, it's just ripping. Yes, so this is Sunday night pre-market trading. I didn't even realize we were going to get to see candles on this. I just want to take a look at the chart, but yeah, this thing is this is the S&P. So this is like selling off mean red right now. And I suppose this has to do with hedge funds covering shorts. That's what this looks like. This is not like this liquidation, the huge, 2018, this 2018 crash, well, has a similar problem, but the 2020 crash, this is a Euro banking liquidity crisis. The banks froze up and didn't lend any money to anyone. It was a huge like liquidity squeeze in the international banking system here, with the story of a virus causing a crash, which was not the deal. Like this doesn't happen because of a virus. This happens because of liquidity, and people have to sell their positions because they can't, they don't have cash. So this is the same thing here. Like if you're upside down short and you have margin calls, you have to sell positions because you have no money. It's a liquidity squeeze. I think this is the same thing that's happening here, but I don't know how big this is going to be. I've done, well, I should probably cut this one off anyway, but there's a couple of zones. I mean, the whole top here is the first zone that it's definitely going to check, because this is like the hot spot that it's been hitting for the last bunch of years, and it hit it here, broke it, back checked it, come up, hit it again. So what I've been saying the past like week or so is if this thing stays above this volatility zone, we're looking at just exploding up. Like the stock market will just crash up into a bubble. If we break down underneath here, especially if we break through this moving average, we'll just come into support here, and then it will kind of be interesting. And it has the potential to break down further if things get crazy, but there's a lot of zones to kind of break through. If it gets under this trend line, though, we're in a short-term bear move, which it looks like we're approaching right now. So there's definitely risk of a little sell-off, and there's also risk of a bigger sell-off, and then there's also risk of bouncing and just blowing up into like a huge bubble. This is a super critical point in the market. It's crazy news and everything. And so that's my take on the whole situation. I've done a ton of research this weekend trying to figure out what's really going on. But basically, it's like a little war between the short squeeze mob and the hedge funds. And so the hedge funds have access to the media. So I feel like whatever you hear on the media right now is in the interest of the hedge funds. And I think the silver squeeze story is in the interest of the hedge funds, is what it looks like to me. So that's the deal on the SLV pump and dump. And a super interesting market, and we'll see if the SEC gets involved or the market stays open. Who knows what's going to happen. Good luck out there, like button and whatever. What is this? Silver or something? Yeah, I have a bullion, silver, and gold playlist if you want to check out several videos. I have a bunch of videos covering all the fundamentals and whatnot on gold and silver if you want to check through that. But this is a whole different thing that's pretty interesting. So cheers and happy trading.